Hello. How is everyone? Okay, just give me a second. It's my first time on this type of meetup. I haven't tried it before. There you go. Okay. Can you see and hear me okay? Just wondering. There's a little chat box if you want to leave some notes. If you want to speak, if you want to turn on your video, you can do that. You don't have to. Hi, Values. Let me see who else is here. We've got Ria, and we've got somebody with an anonymous name. Yeah, okay. We're just going to start in a couple of minutes. So, yeah, we'll just give everybody a second to sign on. How is everyone doing? Yeah, good. Just wondering, is the time okay? Because normally the time in Korea where I live is quite different from where everyone else is living. Is everybody okay with the time zone? Is everyone studying? Yep. Hello. Just for everyone joining, we will start quickly. This one, okay. Hi, Aisha. How are you? Good. Is it windy? I have the fan on because it's really hot and humid. Is it bothersome to listen to? I can turn it off. It's not noisy from where I sit, but it might be noisy in the recording. I don't know. Are you guys okay with the sound of the fan? Or are you not? Okay. Well, let me know if you would like to, if you want me to switch it off, I can do that, but it's quite hot. So yeah. All right. It is 4 o'clock. We might as well just get started. Let me just bring up the editor. So welcome to Python and logical operators. It's just a really brief little mini workshop and it's quite beginner friendly. Wait, just 1 second. Just to introduce myself briefly. So my name is Laura. I used to be the chapter leader for the Seoul chapter until Codecademy recently changed platforms. You might have noticed that. And basically I changed the chapter into a Python chapter because that's what I was effectively doing. In my day job as a marketer, I have to say I don't really use code per se. I just really enjoy it as kind of an involved hobby. I was studying analytics for quite a while as it had something to do with my job, since you do use analytics in marketing. And then I felt that I was kind of losing my grip on Python basics that I had learned a couple of years prior. So I went back to the computer science path and I found that I had indeed forgotten quite a bit. And so this workshop was born out of a willingness to sort of go back and revisit the basics, and also review my mistakes and learn from my mistakes and share that with others. And what I've noticed from looking through the introductions, there's actually a lot of people who have never coded before, who maybe started coding last night. So I thought it would be interesting to look at that together. And yeah, just to give you a quick little rundown of what we're doing basically. So we will have a look at a little problem. I will give you 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more if you need, on the clock to solve that problem. If you finish earlier, we can also compare notes earlier. We don't have to drag it out if you don't need to. And I will explain what I did. Spoiler alert, I made a lot of mistakes. And I let ChatGPT critique my code. So I used ChatGPT as my tutor. And then if you're willing, I invite you to maybe share your own code, or maybe share your own mistakes, maybe something that is recurring, maybe some patterns that you see with what you do. And yeah, let's jump right in. Just as a personal recommendation, what I would maybe ask of you is to try and just figure things out for yourself first. If you need to look up some kind of documentation, I think that's fine. If you want to check syntax, that kind of thing, I would maybe not use ChatGPT on your first attempt. I would really, if I was you, I would maybe try and just really figure it out myself first. And to give you a little look at documentation, let me just pop the chat. Let me just pop the link in the chat as well. It's just loading, one sec. For logical operators, just to see what it actually is. While that's loading, let me just give you the rundown. So basically, logical operators by themselves are just and or not. That's basically it. And then they're often used with comparison operators. So we have less than or equal, we have only greater than, we have greater than or equal, we have equal, we have not equal, and then we have is and is not for object identity. And it does sound really basic, right? It doesn't sound super complicated, but some things can be. So yeah, let's just jump in, and let me just give you the link as well. If you need to look up some syntax while you're coding. So this is a useful little link. I'll just put that in the chat. Okay. There we go. Is it being recorded? It is being recorded. So if you'd rather maintain your privacy, yeah, I mean, you can switch on your camera, of course, but yeah, if you feel, then I would maybe say to switch it off. Is somebody trying to say something? No. No. Okay. All right. So I've just put you a little link for documentation as well into the chat. You can check that out if you wish. And let me just go back. So here's the first thing. So you might know, or you might not know, that in order for people to be on Codecademy, officially you have to be 16. And so the first little problem is to create a program that asks for your age, and then to check if you're eligible to be on Codecademy using logical conditions. So yeah, I will give you a few minutes to work out how you would write that. And yeah, let me just put up a little timer as well. Just one sec. And if you have any questions or any bits in the meantime, just feel free to put them in the chat. I'll just put a timer right now. And if you finish early, you may choose to put a little done or finished in the chat box. Good, good. Done. Done. Just so that you know, it will get more difficult as time goes on. Don't you worry. Okay. Okay, we've got another minute and a half on the clock. Did you miss any handouts? No, not really. I just briefly went over what logical operators are and what logical conditions are, and I shared a link. I didn't really, I did not really share anything else outside of that. Okay. I think you attended the last meetup as well. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's have a look. We got 45 seconds, and then we're gonna compare noise. You done? Done. Okay. Just wondering, would it help if I put the timer on the screen? Would that be easier for you, or is it okay? Do you not mind? Okay, all right. So 5 minutes are done. It's okay. All right, just let me know. I can change it now. So here's what it is. Pretty much straightforward. So I wrote, okay, if your minimum age is 16, and if your age is below that, then you need to ask, well, legally speaking, from a legal standpoint, you need to ask your parents for permission. And if you're over 16, then you can use the platform. That's what I did. And I tested it briefly. Okay, yeah, seems to work. And then I asked ChatGPT to critique my code, and ChatGPT had some recommendations. So they're saying, okay, you could name your function name and your variable names a little bit better. You should use snake case. So basically in lowercase letters, and divide words by an underscore. Okay. I think that's fair enough. And then instead of hard coding it, you should maybe have it as a constant at the top of the code. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then when you return it, you should maybe use strings for, you should maybe use exceptions, or maybe a better way to handle exceptions, responses, okay? And then here's what ChatGPT recommended. And it said, let me just try and scroll down a bit more. So it said here, so you should validate it. So you should actually check whether the age is in integer, and you should maybe also check if the number is not valid. Then you should then you can return that it was an invalid age. You should enter a non-negative integer. Okay, that's reasonable. And then maybe that was the only difference. Basically, it's asking to validate the input better, and maybe redefine your variable names. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But per se, the logic was kind of similar to what I did. So I was like, okay. Then the next one that I tried was to have a basic login system. So for example, imagine that you have somebody with a username. Oh, sorry, before I do that, let me just go back to the chat. Does somebody have an answer that they would like to share, or maybe something where they went in a very different way? Sorry, just go back up a little bit. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. Elian says you're okay with the timer as it is. You don't mind having it up. Okay, let's maybe try that. Let's see how that goes. That might be distracting. Let me just leave it as it is now. You did something very similar. Okay. Did not validate anything. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Okay. Yeah, let's just move on to the next one then. So if we have a little look over here. So create a program that asks for a username and a password and uses logical operators to check if the entered credentials match the predefined ones. So yeah, let's just give you 5 minutes on the clock, and then we can compare notes. Can I just ask you, can you still see my screen? Because at the moment I just see black. It's not showing anything on my screen. Okay. Yes, you can. Okay. done. Okay. Oh, it's really hot. Let me just get something to drink. Ooh. Done. Okay. It's about a minute and a half left. Will I share my notebook? I can do that. Yeah, that's fine. I can make a post on the community tab if you prefer. You want to see the comments? Yeah, that's fine. So just for everyone who's watching who may not be able to hear, let me just type that as well. Okay, so 5 minutes up. And now, just to give you my code, and I'm just letting you know in advance, I got it wrong, okay? So what I did was in my head, okay, so I was thinking we're going to have a lot of users, so we're going to need a class. So I initialized my user with username and a password. I used a little formatting option to sort of, if you want to see a representation of the class. And then I had a login system. And so I thought, okay, if I say that if the username matches the username, then, if the username does not match the username, you should let the user know that the user doesn't exist. There's something wrong with it. And then if the username matches but the password doesn't match, it should let the user know that the password is wrong. And if the password and the username match, then it should return some kind of message that you're being logged on. And yeah, so basically what ChatGPT told me was that the class, so in terms of for that class, you need to actually have an instance. You can't just, use the attributes directly. There's a little bit of formatting going on. And yeah, so that's basically what ChatGPT came back up with. So it said here, for this formatting, it should use this kind of formatting, self.username and self.password. Okay, that makes sense. And then for accessing that class, you should use an instance. So you have your instance here, instance of the my user class with a username and a password like so. The logic, I would say, is maybe somewhat similar, but the way I accessed the class was wrong and the formatting up here. Okay. And let me just have a look in the chat. How did you guys solve it? What did you guys do to write this sort of bit of code? The dictionary. Okay, interesting. Are you able to share, or do you feel shy, Sandra? Checking user and password from a set of constants. Okay. Okay. I also have a feeling you're done. I also have a feeling that for this kind of thing, you might need an understanding of databases, which I personally don't have. Okay. Okay. So to focus on whether the password is correct or not. But like this may be one of these things that you might have a better understanding of if you actually work in the industry. Okay, yeah, all right. Let's just move on to the next one then. So the next one that So the next one that I prepared was a password strength checker. So I developed a script to check the strength of a password, use logical operators to ensure that the password meets certain criteria. So for example, length. So should it maybe be above or below certain characters? Should it maybe have numbers, special characters? And then I think something that you also see a lot of the time these days is they're asking you to include, excuse me, they're asking you to include uppercase as well as lowercase characters. So again, I'll give you 5 minutes and then we can compare the little bits and bobs and start. A JSON with user data, okay. Okay. You feel stupid. Oh no. I feel very stupid. And I'm sharing my stupid mistakes. Yeah. Exactly. All fine. Okay. We're about to finish our 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Just to give you a rundown of what I did. And again, spoiler alert, I got it wrong. Okay. So basically what I did is I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have uppercase letters, I'm going to have lowercase letters, I'm going to have special characters and numbers. And then what I want is I want to cycle through my password and I want to check whether or not it fulfills all these conditions. So first I said, okay, if my password has only 4 or less characters, then I should say that, okay, it's actually too short. Can you please enter a longer one? And then it should also check if there are no uppercase letters, then it should check that there should be at least one. If it doesn't have a lowercase letter, it should tell you to have one in your password. And if it doesn't have any numbers, it should actually tell you that you need to include a number. And if your password fulfills all these conditions, then it is actually a strong password. And that's what I thought, right? Apparently it is not. Okay. So when I tested my code, I saw that it basically got stuck at the second step. It didn't recognize that I had an uppercase letter in my password. I was a bit depressed. So I checked. So basically, what it is, it doesn't check for individual characters. It checks if it is a substring of the password. So that's why it kind of got stuck in there, and it doesn't check. As a result, it doesn't check anything else. The error messages are not really consistent. Okay, I mean I feel like that's kind of a personal opinion, ChatGPT. And then the return statement. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what it recommends is it recommends to import a method called string, and it recommends to have uppercase and lowercase and digits imported like so. I was like, okay, all right. And then yeah, okay. I guess that kind of saves you having the time to type out everything. It just has it as a sort of predefined bit. I feel like that's quite interesting to know. And then here's the thing that I got really, really wrong, and that's why my code got stuck, was it's basically, wait one second. It basically goes over each character, and it goes over each character in the password. Okay. That's why my code did not work. That's the main bit. Okay. Let me just bring that back up. Okay, so basically my code did not iterate over each character in my predefined variables, and my code did not iterate over each bit in the password. And let me just see what you guys did in the chat. How did you guys solve it? Okay. And how did you go from there? You were not finished. You want to make a password check that some set parameters. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. I like that, Sandra. Okay. Let me have a look what you guys did. Okay, you want to make a password checker that had some set parameters. Okay. That sounds solid. And Sandra says, yeah, I think you can definitely make that work. What I just, personally, what I really enjoy is how we're all learning Python, right? And we all have the same task, but there are so many ways to achieve the same thing. I think that's one of my favorite things about Python. My first thought was to use a loop to run through the password string. Any is an option. See if the length was long enough. I got a +1. If the letters had an application, I got another +1. And I have a minimum value that was acceptable. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's a very different way of looking at it. Oh, I like that mental. Okay. Okay. Let's just have a look at the last bit then. I don't want to keep you too long. So the last one is, and again, I have to preface this with saying that I really failed at this one, okay? So the last problem for today is a prime number generator. And the task is to write a program to generate a list of prime numbers up to a specified number. And your task is to get input from a user for the upper limit. Okay, so basically, let's say if you have the, let's say if somebody gives you a number of 20, then it should give you all the prime numbers up until 20. Use a loop on conditions to identify prime numbers. And then I have to confess, I did not actually know exactly what a prime number was, so I had to look it up as well. A prime number, or prime, is a natural number greater than 1 that is not a product of two smaller natural numbers. A natural number greater than 1 that is not prime is called a composite number. For example, 5 is a prime because the only ways of writing it is as a product is 1 by 5 or 5 by 1. However, 4 is a composite number because it is a product 2 by 2, which both numbers are smaller than 4. I think that's very abstract. Let me maybe just give you a couple of examples of prime numbers in order for you to understand better. Let me just put that in the chat as well, maybe. Because I have to confess, I also found it a little bit difficult to understand. Okay. So, for example, okay. Just pop that in the chat, like so. So, for example, the prime numbers for 1 to 100 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and you can read that for yourself. Done. Wow. Amazing. Let me just give you 5 minutes, and we can compare our notes. done-ish. I really struggled with that one, I have to be honest. We have about 2.5 minutes left. So about halfway there. Python's hard. I have a feeling this one might be more of a maths question, to be honest. Should be a two-part thing, one checker and one to generate a list of primes. I can't remember how I did it. I mean, the thing is, the input is already is your upper limit. I guess that's an interesting way of doing it. That's very creative. I like it. Interesting. All right. 5 minutes being up. Let me just share with you what I did and how I did it incorrectly. Okay, so here's what I thought. So in my mind, I would have an input. I would have an empty list. And then the first thing I would check is that number actually larger than 1, right? Because it says here, it's a natural number greater than 1. And then I figured that I would go over each number leading up to my number. So for number in that range. And then if that number cannot be divided with a modulo, if it's not an even number, and also if I can divide that number by my number, then I should append it to my prime number list. And in the end, I should return my prime number list, and it should have all the primes up until that upper limit. And if that didn't work, then I wanted my code to return a natural number greater or equal to 1. Okay, and that is incorrect. So I checked, it didn't work. So here's what ChatGPT told me. So it also adds in a little list at first. It says actually your number should be greater or equal to 2. And your range should actually start at 2 because prime numbers start there, basically. And so if it is, it goes over each number leading up until my number, and then it should go over the numbers. And then if it can be divided, then it should basically stop the code. And if it doesn't meet the conditions, it should append to prime number list. let's just have a look at the explanation as well. Okay, so then I checked the code. Yeah, it does indeed work when I checked it. And basically what it said is you check if the number has any divisors other than 1 and itself. Okay, and if a divisor is found, then the loop breaks, basically. So it means it is not a prime number. And if no divisors are found, then the number is a prime and it should be appended. Okay. And then for the return statement, okay, so it should be outside of the loop. Okay. And then also you should be starting at greater or equal to 2. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, let me just ask how you guys did it. How did you guys solve it? Let me just bring up the solution code again, like so. Billy, do you have any notes? Did you write anything? I think it's an interesting idea. I like it. Okay. Okay. Oh. Does that work? It looks like it can work. To try and divide a number by 2, 3, and 7. Okay. And check if the number is integer and also check whether doing the same operation. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that seems really interesting, George. I like it. Let me just try Mental's code as well. Let's see if that works. Oh no. Oh god, the formatting. Oof. That is a bit. Hold on, was that indented? Okay, having a little loop. Okay. And then a little break. Okay. Oh god, the rendering just wild. Then else. Let me see, what level is the else? Else is on the same level as 4. Okay. You did anything completely written. You did play with range and division. Okay. I hope I got all the spacing right, Mental. Let's have a look. Woo. Okay, Metal, we need to work on that, but we're kind of out of time. But 99 is a, hold on, is 99 a prime number? I feel like it might not be. Okay, I'll have a look. So basically we're, let me see, what does ChatGPT say to your code, Mental? Let's have a look. Curious now. And then we're going to wrap up in a second. Oh dear. Oh, it's still loading. Just one sec. Just redid itself. Okay. All right. So mental. This is what ChatGPT recommends. Instead, let me just see how's that different. So it makes a little list. Okay. It also goes over a range. Okay. Looks kind of similar, doesn't it? I'm just trying to see how it's different. You got this list. Oh, okay. Gives you an empty list. I'll have a look. It's also possible that I didn't do the tabs correctly. Okay. I'll have a look. I'll let you know. Okay. I would just like to wrap up, to be honest. I don't want to waste your time. Is there anything else that you would like to maybe add? Anything you would like to share at this point? I think your code works, Mental. I'll have a look. When are we doing the next one? Ooh, well, yes. I have to plan. I have to think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the notebook in a post, and it should be on the Python Club. Okay, you've got to work in it. It's in the indentation. Yeah, Mantle, do you know what? I think it was probably me making mistakes with the indentation because of the formatting from putting it from chat into VS Code. I'll have a look. Okay. I'm not sure about the next meetup. I will be planning it and I will put it up in the club. Okay. So I would like to say thanks for attending. I wish you happy coding and I wish you a great week ahead. So if you have any questions, you have the Python club, you know where to post. Okay. Yeah. So thanks everyone. I'm going to wrap up now. I'm going to end this room. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye.